Yo, 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 welcome on. What's going on, guys? Hey, it's John Hamilton here with SLM Bets and Sports Lounge Media, powered by the Mogul and Diamond brand. I want to welcome you all on for a very exciting and brand new week into preseason football. That's right, we are in the preseason for football this week, and it is already kicking off with some amazing things to look out for, some amazing bets, and starting to see players in their strides come out and perform. I loved seeing some of the teams that are actually currently playing right now, but the Raiders and the Seahawks was an interesting game to see how some of the players are going to be inversed inside their formats for playbooks, play styles, and what they're going to be looking like for the rest of the seasons. So, things to talk about today, guys. We are going to be talking about the betting odds that Vegas has projected with this season. It is a very interesting season. A lot of new players going to be taken into factor for some of the futures, and there's going to be a lot of interesting prop bets that I want you guys to pay attention to. So definitely look out for that. We are absolutely going to be getting into a lot of pieces with the betting. Remember, betting is for fun. Do not do this as a lifestyle. This is absolutely just for fun. There's no guarantees with anything. Mine is only here for advice for you guys. If you feel like you are having a hard time or struggling with any type of betting addiction, please get help. Google the Gambling Anonymous hotline. They are there for your disposal, for your help. Okay. So jumping in from last season to this season, we have a lot of things to take away. Right now, betting the odds, Vegas has the Buffalo Bills at a plus 600 being favored, tied with the Ravens. So Vegas is taking away that the Bills and the Ravens are going to be the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. Pay attention to this. That is going to be Vegas's take on the AFC. They are split in decision between the Bills and the Ravens at a plus 600. I don't know who I'm going to take yet, but I got to place it in sooner than later, right? Because we're already coming up on the season. We already on the preseason. Again, like we had said in the beginning of the stream, there's a lot of things to take away. Now, the Eagles, NFC favorite, going back to the Super Bowl, I think there's a lot of key factors that put them in this position, right? Their schedule is fairly strong, but we're just looking at what Vegas has for the Super Bowl odds for 2026. They have the Bills, Ravens, Eagles, and Chiefs being the top four right now going back. What do you feel comfortable with? What do you want to bet on? And what does a plus 600 mean? You bet $100. That means your payout is going to be a plus 600. So you're going to be walking away with $700 in cash if you guess the right team. You can combine these for a parlay, but stick to money lines, please. It is going to be the best bet. It's going to be your best outcome for sure. You don't want to lose money doing this. So let's just be safe. Now, if we want to minimize the odds and get something a little bit more key effective on this, we're going to be getting into what's called team futures. Something that's going to be a little bit more understandable for you guys and something that's going to be safer is going to be to make the playoff odds. Vegas has these top 10 teams to make the playoffs. That is going to be in order: the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Niners, the Lions, the Buccaneers, the Rams, Commanders, and Bengals. So it's pretty interesting for some of those teams, right? Because some of those teams are in the same division. Now, the Bills, Ravens, I could easily see them making the playoffs. This is something that I would like to bet on myself. The Eagles, I could absolutely see them making it there. Maybe one or two teams out of that division could have a wild card chance. I definitely see the Eagles taking that. The Chiefs might be an interesting one this season. There's a lot of things to take a look out for our teams and our co-members that we have here for Sports Lounge Media. They cover a lot of analysis on how the players are doing, updates on the teams, and where they think they're going to project. I would definitely pay close attention to that, as do I. They do have the Lions right behind the Niners making the playoffs. So do we think the Lions are going to make it into the playoffs? I would presumably say yes. So far, 5 teams. Now, the tricky one, in my opinion, along with the team that we're going to mention last. And this is just playoffs. This doesn't mean they have to win the playoff game. Doesn't mean they have to go to the Super Bowl. They just have to make it into the playoff. It does say 8 division winners and 6 wild cards. So there's a lot of favorable chances in this. Okay. So yes on Bills, yes on Ravens, yes on Eagles. Let's just say yes on Chiefs because they haven't not done it since Patrick Mahomes has been under the helm as a quarterback. Lions. Yep. So this is a tricky one, right? You got the 49ers with the Rams. 49ers and Rams. I don't know. Obviously, I'm a huge 49er fan. My biasness wants to say that they're going to make the playoffs. They haven't missed a playoff when they've not missed a play, or when they've missed a playoff, they haven't not missed a playoff the following year. So this could be a bounce back year. We'll see. Not 100% confident on betting them to get into the playoffs. Injuries always seems to be a factor for the Niners. So I'm going to probably stay away from that one, even though that they have reasonably the best odds to make the playoff based on what Vegas is saying. Next, you have the Rams. Now, if Matthew Stafford's back can stay healthy, I can see the Rams taking the NFC West. I do. I think they're a very strong format under Sean McVay. I think they have a phenomenal team around them. They're very strong offensively and defensively. I could see the Rams making the playoffs. Even if they squeak into the wild card, that's a good thing for us because that means we're getting paid. So, Commanders and Cincinnati Bengals. These are 2 tough teams, right? Now, we both know Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal season last year, performing the way he did with his touchdown percentage and his passing completion rate and yards, helping the team finish off a 12-5 record, if I'm not mistaken, and then the NFC Championship game where they got completely blown out by the Eagles. So they just have to make the playoffs. Now let's break this down. Think about the teams that are going to be in that division. You got the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Cowboys seem pretty strong offensively with some of the weapons that they picked up. There's some controversy defensively with Micah Parsons if he's going to land that spot or if he's going somewhere else. I would like you guys to please pay attention to Sports Lounge Media on some of our shows that cover that. But that information pertains directly to betting on sport apps, okay? This is going to be something that you're going to pay attention to throughout the season. This is why they're in the futures category. Futures category allow you to bet early on something, and they predictively give you the best odds when you do it earlier. The closer it gets in the likelihood of the team making it into the playoffs, if they're 5-0 or 8-0, their odds are going to be less likely to pay you out higher ends of dividends. So you want to jump in early. What do you feel comfortable with based off last season? Now, are we going to see a sophomore slump out of Jaden Daniels? I'm not sure, to be honest. There's a lot of controversy over there offensively with Deebo Samuel coming into the playbook style, reformatting what they did. And then, I mean, he can play back. He can play wide receiver. It's pretty interesting where you can utilize him as a weapon. Now, Terry McLaurin, is he going to play? Is he going to sign with another team? Is he holding out? Is he going to be healthy? Is Luke going to be healthy? There's a lot of factors that go into this. I wouldn't bet on the Niners. I wouldn't bet on the Commanders. And the last one to talk about for just to make the playoffs, and this is, I'm going to tell you guys how much the payout is. It's pretty ridiculous. Like, this is something I'm going to be betting on. I'm not going to give you guys all of my information on this because if you guys want, you should be subscribing to sportsloungemedia.com. We're going to start a subscription service when the season starts where you can follow my bets closely and see how successful I've been last few years going into this year. And you guys, no guarantees, but you will probably come out with being a winner in a lot of these games. So Cincinnati Bengals is the last one. Really, really tough division to bet on. Not talking about win percentage, not talking about anything else, individual players, nothing. We're talking about a team to make the playoffs. Now, a few things could have gone their way last year where they could have squeaked in, where I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, if the Kansas City beat the Broncos and then the Bengals won their game, they could have made it into the playoffs, but didn't end up that way. Does Joe Burrow and that team really make the push into the playoffs? I think it's kind of a make or break year for that team as a head coach, not Joe Burrow being a quarterback. I think he's going to play in the league forever. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't feel comfortable with it. Neither does Vegas. So Vegas has them at a negative 150. To give you a comparison, they have the Bills, Ravens, a negative 750, 550. The Eagles at a negative 400. So that means they're giving you less payout because it's high likelihood they're going to make the playoffs. Now, that means we, from what we just talked about, are going to take the Bills, Ravens, Eagles, Chiefs, and Lions. And I'm going to add in the Rams. I feel like they're pretty strong. So let's add this in. Let's see how much $100 would pay us out just from those teams. So if we were to bet $100, the payout is $529, sorry, and 40 cents on $100. That's pretty good for teams that are likely going to be making the playoffs. Obviously, there's no guarantee. Teams can get hurt. Teams can spruce up out of nowhere. I mean, the Jets could be good. The Miami Dolphins could be good. Saints could be good. Realistically, though, based off of what we know as professionals and experienced fan bases on what we're betting, that's likely not going to happen, and this is likely to happen, right? So there's 8 division winners and 6 wild cards. That means 6 teams alone out of the total 14 that have to make it in. That I feel pretty confident with those teams jumping in. Now, you could add the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers make it from a $529 payout to a $840 payout. That's a huge difference because you're adding in another compound into a parlay. This is no longer a money line where you're taking one team. You're adding in a whole bunch of other things. Now, when you do a money line, that one thing just has to hit and you get paid. That's it, right? But if you add another team, it's called a parlay. And now parlaying means everything in your parlay has to hit. Everything that you bet that would happen has to hit or you don't get paid, right? So you're taking more risk. With more risk, it gives you better odds. This is a plus 740, right? So that means you're going to be paid out that 840 for your initial bet of 100. You get your principal back plus your odds, okay? Let's talk about something that I'm actually pretty excited about. I'm going to clear this out. We're going to be talking about, and I hope you guys are taking some notes on this. Okay. Let's jump into this really quick. Okay. We're going to go into player futures. I love player futures. It's one of my favorites. All right. The first thing that Vegas has that jumps up on my app here is going to be the 2025 and 2026 award for MVP. You have in the lead, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, Baker Mayfield, and Jordan Love. You know what's funny about these is that the odds substantially go higher. Now, Lamar Jackson being the most favorable odd, Vegas has him at a plus 550. This is the future, right? We don't know how they're going to play. We don't know if they're going to be healthy. This is just going to be something to kind of really stand on. Hey, what's up, sir? Sorry, I just saw your comment. I'm so sorry. Let me add you into the side here. All right, perfect. You guys can comment and I can now see you. My apologies. There's 4 players I would bet on. Now, I don't want you betting the helm on this. I don't want you to take a loan out on the house and bet on this MVP because the reason that there's plus odds on this is it's uncertain of who's going to do what. There's 4 players I personally like that are likely to not hit, but if it does hit, the payout is so sweet. It's a big pot of honey. Okay. So the first one I really like as an MVP is going to be Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams at a plus 2,800. That means if you're betting $100, your payout's going to be $2,900. I personally won't bet that. I'll probably put 10, $20 down because the payout's just too good not to even try, right? Also, another one that I really, really like is Brock Purdy. There's a lot of talk in the league right now of how good the Niners are going to do. And coming from a season where they went horrible with one of the worst seasons that we've seen in a long time with injuries, records, performance bases, and then their bounce back year with Robert Salah coming back, new rookies, everyone's healthy in the vet status right now. They have a good chance to really make a good playoff push. And I could absolutely see if they make it into the postseason, Brock Purdy getting the most valuable player award based off of third-year quarterback coming back from a season that's really bad. They have him at a plus 3,000. I could easily see that being an opportunity. It's in the top 12 category. Now, This one is one that I'm very excited about and I feel very strongly about. I think for the AFC West, and I've been saying this from the beginning, I think the AFC West, the Broncos take it this year. I do. I really do. I don't think the Chiefs fall all the way off, but I think the Broncos have addressed every situation need. I think they're literally just a running back short, like a top tier running back short of being a Super Bowl contending team. Now, that means they went 10-7 last year, and Bo Nix threw for over 3,500 yards. He had an amazing touchdown to interception ratio as a rookie quarterback. I'm going to put a limb out, $20 limb out on Bo Nix at a plus $3,500. So let's take Bo Nix plus 35. I'm going to tell you guys how much $20 pays out. Pays out $720 on a $20 bet. Is it going to happen? I'm not sure. Vegas doesn't think it's going to happen. The safe bets are going to be Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Those are pretty safe. Now, you could go all the way at the bottom, and the odds are pretty crazy. If you want to bet like Najee Harris to be MVP, it's 80,000. You're just going to be wasting and throwing away money at that point. You don't want to do that. But taking quarterbacks as an MVP is a great option to do. I wouldn't bet a lot of money on it. Okay. Let's talk about for player futures. I really, really want to get into milestones. We're going to do passing yards. Okay. So player to have 3,500 plus regular season passing yards. Now, this is a fun one to talk about. Okay. Joe Burrow. He's averaged 3,850 passing yards. Great one to take. I would take Joe Burrow. We're going to add him up. And this one, you can do money line straight up, but the money line isn't going to pay that much because Vegas is already expecting Joe Burrow to pass for 3,500 yards. They're already expecting him to do that, especially with the new contracts that team's under. They're going to ball out this year, 100% with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. You got Jermaine Burton as a rookie that's really, really good with his hands. All right, so then next is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Now, this is one that I'm going to stay away from. I am not convinced that Patrick Mahomes is going to be certain of throwing over 3,500, but I am going to take Jared Goff. Jared Goff has increased his yards left and right for the last 4 years. His yardage and passing has gotten better and better and better. The next one is Brock Purdy. Now, Brock Purdy, this is an interesting one, okay? Brock Purdy sits around that 3,500 to 3,800 mark. For them to make a big push, they're going to really have to depend on the run game. I'm going to stay away from this. Next is going to be Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott doesn't stay healthy enough for me to want to convince myself to bet on him. However, I am going to take Josh Allen. Josh Allen is definitely a good one to take. I am also going to take, where are you? I am going to take Bo Nix as well. So this brings it up. You have 4 quarterbacks, okay? This is going to be a plus 115. This is going to be a reasonable payout. You can do $10. We'll pay you $21.59 and add another 0 to it when you start adding a 0 to your initial bet. It's not a bad bet to take. You just really have to be confident in who you're recommending that is going to start out. You know, it's funny that I'm looking at. They don't have Lamar. Oh, they do have Lamar. Lamar, that's interesting. I wonder why he's down there. Okay, so next, milestones. You can get rid of the pass yards. We can do passing touchdowns. Do we think that Joe Burrow is going to have more than 25 passing touchdowns? Yes or no? Well, you can look at it this way. Joe Burrow is leading right now a negative 1,800. They think that he's going to have more than 25 passing touchdowns. That's pretty good. That could also help you in your fantasy. When you bet on odds and stuff in Vegas and what they're projecting, this is also telling you what they're projecting in fantasy or what they're going to be doing in the regular season. That's something to pay attention to as well. The top 10 for 25 passing plus is going to be Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, J.J. McCarthy, and Bo Nix. That's a pretty interesting take. 25 passing touchdowns isn't necessarily the easiest thing. I might take a couple of those, but I'm probably going to stay away. But I would definitely bet the favorable odds, guys. If you just want to get some guarantees, there's no guarantee with betting, but likelihoods are going to be those top ones that have more of a negative payout. The pluses means that it's not likely for them to do. Receiving yards. Okay, this is cool. So there's a lot of great wide receivers on here. The top 10 wide receivers for betting for 1,000+ yards. This is actually where you can start making some serious money when you start compounding these. Okay, so Jamar Chase is number one. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, BTJ, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown, and Drake London. A lot of these have a huge takeaway when you start compounding these. So you got Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, BTJ, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra, and AJ Brown. I would put all those together. 1,000+ yards, easy in my opinion. That's going to be a pretty hefty. It's going to be a pretty hefty payout. You're looking at $100. It'll pay you out $1,432. That's a pretty sweet bet. If you want to get into the next future, we're just going to touch up on a couple more rushing touchdowns, guys. Think about your rushing touchdowns. They have DeAndre Swift at number 1 to get over 5+ regular season touchdowns. 5 regular season rushing touchdowns. Ashton Genty is a great one to take. Bucky Irving, Kenneth Walker III. He's their big red zone territory threat, right? You also have Brian Robinson Jr. that had a breakout year last year. All these guys are really good to bet on. When you're betting on these, it's typically going to pay you 1.5 to 2.0 on your initial bet. These are going to be really good stacks. And if you guys want to know my exact takes, my exact bets, and what I'm going to be betting on, that information is going to be live and also listed in a subscription service on sportsloungemedia.com. We are going to be having that up the week before regular season. We are currently coding that for you guys to be a part of. And I want you guys to really, really pay attention to what we're going to be offering for our prop bets, fun bets. Those are going to be free on the website as soon as we get into this. Next is going to be game lines, guys. Now, I already have my game line set, right? We're talking about season game lines. This is where you're going to make your money. Okay, money lines, bet straight up, safest way to get payouts. But if you do multiple, if you only bet one money line like the Cowboys and the Eagles, and you bet the Eagles and the Eagles are favored to win, so your payout's going to be $74 on a $100 bet, so you'll walk away with $174. Is that going to be something that you're going to make constant money on? Maybe, but likelihood is you want to do a money line on other bets. Now, money line on other bets and parlaying, 2 separate things. You can go in, take the Eagles. Cool, I'm going to bet that, and you can also bet for a player prop for Saquon Barkley anytime TD. That'll help stack it, right? So that's going to be $83 payout. That's actually not that bad of a bet. Now, you can bet that individual ticket. Perfect. Let's say you want to bet again. So you're going to bet the Chargers and the Chiefs. Now, the funny thing is that the Chargers swept the Chiefs a few times in their division games the last few years. Last year was a little bit different. However, they don't play the Chargers very well, and they're playing the Chargers at home. So think about your odds there. They have the Chiefs winning at a -155 and a +130 for the Chargers. I'm personally going to take the Chiefs. I think they're a little bit more of a complete team. I do think Lad McConkey and Justin Herbert are a great season team. However, it's still the Chiefs. Money line that, you can do those individually. Now, I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to give you guys 3. We've talked about them before. I got the Eagles, I got the Bengals, and I am going to take I'm going to take the Steelers, okay? So Steelers, we're going to take the Bengals, and we're going to take the Eagles. That's a +205. That's an insane payout. For $100, you're going to walk away with $300. I really like that bet. I feel like that's a strong bet. I have my whole money line bets already for the entire season. I will be changing them, however, which you are depending on what app and service that you guys use for your betting. There are different ways of doing that. Again, guys, nothing is guaranteed. If you have a gambling addiction, please go to Google and type in the gambling hotline. They're there to help you and walk you through how to not be doing that. This is just for fun. There's no guarantees. This is literally something to do as an extra. And I am going to advise you to make certain bets to help you have a winning season. Okay. Last year I went 86%. Vegas went 67.8. I have beaten Vegas's odds the last 3 years with sports betting. and I want you guys to win with me. I am here to offer my services with Sports Lounge Media, SLM Bets, and for you guys to be paying attention to. If you want to start making some money, and if you guys are serious about betting, you guys need to be paying attention to what we're doing here, because this is going to be some serious heat. Now, mess around with $100 and see what the payouts are going to be. If you don't know what you're wanting to bet on money lines, bet on the parlays. Stick to game wins. That's it. Think about what team is going to win. Do your investigative work, but I already do it. I spend hours on end trying to get the most information I can to bring to you guys to cultivate a win and a payout for you guys. Okay. Now, what we're going to be talking about next week, we're going to be having some add-on guests here. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am going to be, hold on, let me take this off really quick, guys. And we are going to be showing you. All right, here's this captions. All right, here we go. All right, guys. So last thing before we close this out, I want you to bet on the odds that Vegas already has, because Vegas has put in hours and hours and hours of work for you guys to take away wins. Is it going to happen? Is there any guarantees? No, but it is a safe bet. If you wanted to put 100 down just on the Eagles to win, it's a safe bet. I would take that all day. I think the Eagles are going to start off strong. Yes, it's a division game, but I still think there's a little bit more that the Eagles have to offer, especially at home, to beat the Cowboys. I think that's the safest bet that you can do. Do that bet, come back, pay attention to what we have going on. There's going to be a lot of good things to have. Download your apps, subscribe to sportsloungemedia.com. This is powered by the Mogul and the Diamond brand. Guys, I want you to literally follow us, all of our channels, all of our videos, all of our content, because it is going to explode this year. I'm very excited. I'm very hyped for it. We're going to have a lot of special guests. You guys are going to see me in all walks of life with the betting. I'm going to be at casinos. I'm going to be in Vegas. We're going to be doing some really fun stuff, guys. So pay attention. And again, sportsloungemedia.com. That's where you're going to be looking out for my personal bets that you guys can follow and start making some of this. Okay. Again, my name is John Hamilton. I am the Sports Lounge Media Bets, SLM Bet Specialist. If you guys want to pay more attention, follow me on TikTok at John J. Hamilton, and I will be there. I send all of my love to you guys, best wishes, and good luck with the season on your betting. I will see you guys later.